I would say it's all going to really come down to calibration, not necessarily anxiety. So if a girl is speaking to a bartender or a waiter, and your calibration is telling you, if I go in now, I'm dealing with more interrupts than if I just waited 20 seconds. So that's more calibration and strategic. Look, it's not always that the situation gets worse just because you don't go in. Sometimes you're doing it very tactically, but generally, if there's no situation at play, if the girl's sitting there or if she's walking, it's not like waiting. At that point, waiting is just going to get me more in my head or whatever. So then it's better to go in as quickly as possible. But if she's in the store looking at clothes, and she was speaking to a shop assistant and said to me something like, why don't you just go in now? And it's like, if I go in, all that's going to happen is it's going to be a little bit weird, or the shop assistant's going to be still trying to speak to her while I'm speaking to her. It's a little bit weird, but if you just wait 30 seconds, sometimes you wait and the situation just doesn't change. And then you have to just tell yourself, okay, well, I'm going in, but I know exactly what I'm in for. There's probably going to be an interrupt, because sometimes the situation doesn't change. Like if you see a girl's on the phone, maybe you wait 20 seconds, you wait a minute, you see if she's off the phone. But if she's not, it's not an excuse to wait for an hour. I mean, you just go in. It's more a strategy.
Okay, that's the white line I'm walking, because that raises it's an interesting question. When you see a girl with headphones, is there something you do to get them to take them out? Do you walk up and do this, or because that's all the time now? They all have headphones in when they're walking.
Yeah, look, it's common, I think, in a lot of places where they going for walks or fitness cultures. It's very common in Cape Town as well. I think there's a few strategies. Number one is, usually if you start speaking to someone, if they see that you're speaking to them and you keep speaking, usually out of social norms, people might go like this or take it off. Otherwise, I make eye contact, like I start talking to them and I just point to it. I point to their ear or I point to my ear. Usually one of those two options. The bad thing that never works, or the unfortunate thing, is if you talk to them, but they don't even realize that you're speaking to them, and so they didn't hear you and they kept walking. But then you needed to do a better job of like getting in their vision or waving a little bit so they can see you. Those strategies.
Sometimes they're just like, they have sunglasses, headphones, and you're just sort of doing all this to try to get on the radar.
Yeah, look, you have to do something. Generally, I just use my hands and I put it a little bit in front of them, like so they can see. Look, at the end of the day, there's not much you can do there. She needs to understand that you're talking to her. So yes, it is you lose a little bit of value and you maybe are a little bit weird. You lose a little bit of comfort as well. But at the end of the day, there's no alternative. I mean, the only other alternative is to wait until she eventually takes it off. But then you could be following her for 2 hours. So, yeah.